Here's a short piece from Nick Davies, the author of Flat Earth News, with his view on how some elements of the press gather their news stories.
For years, most Fleet Street newspapers have been using illegal techniques to get access to information, which they call, in their internal office jargon, the dark arts. The more you look at the Fleet Street's use of the dark arts, the dirtier it gets. There are examples of them phone tapping, which is serious illegal stuff. Fleet Street got obsessed with Angus Dayton's sex life, which is a sad story in itself. And they had a British telecom engineer place a listening device in the junction box near his home in order to listen to his phone calls. And that's a straightforward breach of the law by the engineer. They've also started using things called, Trojan horse emails, where the journalist sends the target an email which has an attachment which opens and then copies everything in the hard disk and relays it on to another email address which can't be traced to the newspaper but gives them everything that's on the hard disk. Part of the dark arts tradition in Fleet Street has been hacking into mobile phones. And this is a major industry, although Fleet Street continues to deny it. Journalist Clive Goodman got caught hacking into the mobile phone messages of 3 people on the staff of Prince Charles. And because it was the royal family, the police reacted. So Goodman got busted along with the private investigator who'd been doing the stuff for him, and they both ended up in prison. So the private investigators who work for Fleet Street basically have 2 techniques, bribing and blagging. So bribing simply means you hand over a brown envelope full of cash to whoever it is, the civil servant who can get you into the social security database, or the police officer who can get you into the police national computer. It's a criminal offence, but hey, who's asking questions? Or blagging. Blagging means that the private investigator cons the people who look after the database into releasing the information. And they're very skilled at it. There was one newspaper who had a former actor who was like their own personal blagger, who learnt how to speak with the kind of internal language of a British telecom engineer. So a lot of what we know about the dark arts comes from a raid by the Information Commission on the home of a private investigator in Hampshire called Steve Whittemore. He set up a network of people who could get him access to these secret record bases. So he had somebody in the DVLA so he could convert a car number into a name and an address. He had somebody who had access to the police national computer. He had other people in social security. Newspapers were ringing him up for illegal stuff, and within half an hour he's delivering it for a fee. The Information Commission basically didn't have enough money to put the newspapers who had paid him in the dock. People are very frightened of the bullying Fleet Street newspapers. Government in particular don't like getting into fights with newspapers, so they back off. I think that if you ask where do the dark arts come from, ultimately it is about commercial pressure. It's about trying to get stories that nobody else has without putting in the money and resources that you should. And like so much of what's gone wrong with our news organisations, ultimately it is to do with being corrupted by commercialism. And the dark arts is an example of that for sure.